King M'Baku of Wakanda.
Ben, Yancey Street, between Broome and Grand.
This isn't just another Avengers movie. This is Marvel quietly fixing everything they know they messed up. Avengers Doomsday already feels different, like Marvel finally heard the noise and decided this time failure isn't an option. And here's where it starts to feel very deliberate. Marvel didn't bring the Russo brothers back because fans were nostalgic. They brought them back because they know exactly what kind of movie this needs to be. When the stakes are this high, you don't experiment. You go with directors who've already survived chaos and come out with wins. The Russos are the reason the Winter Soldier still feels tight, tense, and grounded. They're the reason Civil War didn't collapse under the weight of too many characters. Infinity War? That movie shouldn't even work on paper, and yet audiences sat in stunned silence when it ended. Endgame turned a decade of storytelling into a global event, the kind you could feel in a packed theater. That's not luck, that's control. Marvel trusts them because they know how to juggle massive ensembles without losing the human moments. They understand when to pull back and let a character breathe, and when to let spectacle explode across the screen. Most importantly, they know how to pay things off. Long arcs, buried threads, emotional setups. This is their lane. Right now, Marvel doesn't need reinvention. It needs stability. It needs directors who won't panic under pressure. And bringing the Russos back isn't looking backward. It's Marvel planting its feet and saying, we're not missing this shot. What do you think? Was this the safest move Marvel could have made, or the only one? And this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable. For all the praise the Russo brothers get, and they've earned plenty, there's one criticism that never really went away. Their movies often looked flat. Muted colors, gray-on-gray palettes, lighting so dark that big moments blended instead of popping. It worked in The Winter Soldier because that movie wanted to feel cold, tense, and grounded. But once the MCU scaled up, that same visual language started to feel like a limitation. Take the Civil War airport fight, massive moment, iconic matchup, and yet, visually, washed out, lifeless. It looked more like a rehearsal than a showdown between legends. Infinity War's Nidavellir should have felt mythic and terrifying, but it came off murky and artificial. In Endgame's final battle, emotionally powerful, yes, but visually cluttered, dark, and drowned in CGI haze. The issue wasn't just aesthetics. As the MCU grew bigger, these visuals mattered more. When you're asking audiences to process dozens of characters, massive stakes, and emotional payoffs, muddy visuals don't just look bad, they dilute impact. If people can't see the moment clearly, they can't fully feel it. And Marvel knows that now. Now here's where things finally turn. Every glimpse of Avengers Doomsday, trailers, post-credit scenes, quick cuts, screams one thing loud and clear. This movie does not look like the old Russo films. The colors are brighter. The contrast is sharper. Characters stand out instead of blending into gray backdrops. Action scenes are staged clearly, not swallowed by darkness or visual noise. And the biggest shift? You can feel the physical space again. There's a clear emphasis on practical sets, real locations, real environments, places where lighting actually behaves like lighting. When characters stand in a room, it feels like a room, not a green screen void filled in later. That instantly changes how a movie lands. Real sets ground performances. They give actors something tangible to react to, and audiences can tell the difference even if they can't explain it. This isn't just a technical upgrade, it's emotional. Clear visuals mean clearer storytelling. When you can see faces, reactions, and movement without distraction, the emotion hits harder. Big moments breathe instead of getting lost. For a movie carrying this much weight, visual clarity isn't a luxury, it's survival. And Doomsday finally looks like it understands that. And this part might be the quietest change, but it's the loudest signal. The Russo brothers didn't just tweak lighting or filters this time, they straight up changed the person behind the camera. Trent Opalak, who shot their previous MCU films, is out. In his place is Newton Thomas Sigel, And that choice alone tells you Marvel wanted a reset, not a touch-up. Siegel's resume explains why. The Drive had style without screaming for attention. Da 5 Bloods balanced grit and color in a way that felt raw and intentional. Bohemian Rhapsody proved he could make a big, glossy spectacle still feel intimate. But the real eyebrow raiser, his work on the X-Men films, especially Days of Future Past. That movie matters because it solved a problem Doomsday now faces, juggling multiple timelines, massive casts, and emotional stakes without losing visual clarity. Days of Future Past looked sharp, colorful, and readable, even when chaos filled the screen. Siegel brings strong color work, clean framing, and visuals that feel ripped from comic panels instead of buried under gray sludge. This isn't just better cinematography, it's a visual philosophy shift. And for Marvel, that change might matter more than any single scene. Now let's talk about Thor, because this one hits a nerve. Thor. Love and Thunder is still a sore spot for a lot of fans. The movie wanted to explore grief, loss, and trauma, Jane facing cancer, Thor dealing with love and death, but it buried all of that under non-stop jokes. Screaming goats, forced humor, and Thor acting clueless. The weight never got room to breathe, but buried under that chaos was one genuinely solid idea. Thor becoming a father. By the end of the film, Thor takes in Love, Gor's resurrected daughter, and something finally clicks for his character. He isn't chasing glory anymore. He's protecting someone. That emotional shift mattered. It grounded him. The weapon switch reinforced that growth. Thor reclaimed Mjolnir, the weapon tied to worthiness and identity, while Love took Stormbreaker. It felt symbolic. Thor stepping back into who he is, while letting Love grow into her own power.
Not as a warrior, but as warmth. To teach her not battle, but stillness. The kind I never knew.
That's why Avengers Doomsday messing with this setup instantly raised eyebrows. Because when Marvel finally lands a meaningful Thor arc, the last thing fans want is to see it quietly undone. And this is where fans started squinting at the screen. The Avengers. Doomsday trailer shows Thor kneeling, gripping Stormbreaker. No Mjolnir in sight, and on paper that feels off. Not because Stormbreaker isn't powerful, it absolutely is, but because of what the weapon switch meant for Thor's growth. Mjolnir isn't just a hammer, it's identity, worthiness, responsibility. Every major Thor chapter is tied to that weapon. Losing it broke him. Reclaiming it meant he'd earned himself back. By the end of Love and Thunder, Thor taking Mjolnir while Love carried Stormbreaker felt intentional, almost poetic. So seeing Thor back with Stormbreaker immediately triggered alarm bells. To many fans, it looked like Marvel was hitting rewind. Like all that emotional setup, fatherhood, maturity, restraint, might be getting brushed aside for convenience or spectacle. That fear is real because Marvel has done this before. Characters grow, then regress when a new story needs them to fit an old mold. If Thor is once again defined by the bigger axe, bigger power mindset, it risks flattening everything Love and Thunder finally got right. That's why this moment matters. It's not about weapons. It's about whether Marvel respects its own emotional continuity or quietly abandons it when things get complicated. But wait, this might not be the reversal it looks like. There's a strong chance the trailer is deliberately misleading. Thor kneeling before Stormbreaker doesn't necessarily mean he's reclaiming power. It could mean the opposite. Stormbreaker isn't his weapon anymore, it's Love's. And praying over it could be Thor doing what he does best now, protecting his child. That moment mirrors something deeply familiar. Jane Foster once turned to Mjolnir, hoping it could save her. Instead, it healed her only as mighty Thor, slowly killing her in the process. Mjolnir became a symbol of sacrifice, not salvation. That legacy still hangs heavy over Thor. Now he's on the other side of that story. Instead of seeking strength for himself, he's asking for protection for Love. Odin's presence looms large here too. A father, a god, a legacy Thor never fully escaped. Kneeling, praying, this isn't a warrior pose. It's desperation. If Mjolnir is absent because it's back home, untouched, waiting, that actually preserves Thor's arc. It keeps the hammer as his anchor, while Stormbreaker represents love's future. If that's the case, Doomsday isn't undoing Thor's growth. It's quietly honoring it, and that would be a rare, welcome sign that Marvel is finally thinking long-term again. And this might be the most overdue correction of all. For nearly 25 years, the Fox X-Men films avoided one simple thing fans begged for: comic-accurate costumes. Instead, we got black leather suits, muted designs, and a strange embarrassment about the source material. It felt like the movies were apologizing for being comic book stories instead of embracing them. Across multiple films, chances came and went. Teases were ignored. Promises quietly disappeared. Every time it felt close, the franchise backed off, afraid bright colors wouldn't be taken seriously. For fans who grew up with these characters on the page, that absence mattered. Costumes aren't just outfits, they're identity. And for decades, the X-Men never truly looked like themselves. Now Avengers. Doomsday finally pulls the trigger. The trailer confirms Professor X in his classic jumpsuit. Cyclops appears in the iconic blue and yellow, and reports point to Magneto's red armor, Mystique's white suit, Nightcrawler's red and black look, and Beast in a form that actually resembles his comic counterpart. This isn't accidental, it's confidence. Marvel saw the reaction to Wolverine finally wearing yellow in Deadpool and Wolverine, and they understood the message. Fans don't want toned-down versions anymore. They want authenticity. These designs say Marvel isn't afraid of its roots. It's embracing them. And that shift alone makes Doomsday feel like a turning point, not just another crossover. So no, Avengers. Doomsday isn't just another big team-up. It's Marvel correcting course, fixing visuals, respecting character arcs, and finally embracing comic accuracy. This feels like a make-or-break moment, and if they land it, the MCU might finally find its footing again. What do you think? Last chance or fresh start?